Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 best gangster films of all time. You know, the kind of movies that pull back the curtain on a world most people only see in fleeting glimpses or whispered rumors. From classic mob tales to modern crime sagas, these films have defined the genre and left a lasting impact on audiences. They're more than just movies, you see. They're a glimpse into a world of loyalty and betrayal, ambition and greed, where the stakes are high and the consequences are even higher. So sit back, grab your cannoli, and get ready for a wild ride through the mean streets of cinematic history. We begin with a film that needs no introduction, Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece, The Godfather. Released in 1972, it wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural earthquake. The story of the Corleone family, headed by the aging patriarch Don Vito Corleone, Marlon Brando, an actor at the top of his game, brought a quiet intensity, a terrifying stillness to the role. The film was a slow burn, a steady pull into a world of power, violence, and family. It wasn't just the violence though, it was the way it was portrayed, almost like a tragic opera. You felt the weight of every decision, every bullet. The Godfather wasn't just a great gangster film, it was a goddamn cinematic milestone. Next up we head to the streets with a little story I know a thing or two about Goodfellas. Now this wasn't your typical gangster flick. This was raw, this was visceral, this was life in the mob, without the sugarcoating. We're talking about the story of Henry Hill, a young hustler seduced by the allure of the mafia life. Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, they weren't just acting, they were living it. Every nervous tick, every burst of violence, it felt real, because it was based on real life. And the cinematography, the way we used long takes and freeze frames, it pulled you into their world, made you feel like you were right there with them, along for the ride. From the mean streets, we head south to the sun-drenched but equally dangerous world of Miami and Scarface. This wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. Al Pacino, he wasn't just acting, he was possessed. Tony Montana, a Cuban refugee who claws his way to the top of the cocaine empire. He was excessive, he was ambitious, he was a force of nature. The violence, it was over-the-top, operatic, but that was the point. It reflected Tony's own out-of-control ambition. And that ending, holed up in his mansion, guns blazing, it was a spectacle, a cautionary tale, and a damn good time all rolled into one. Chapter 4, The Godfather, Part 2. The family business continues. We return to the Corleone family, but this time the story takes a darker turn in The Godfather Part 2. This wasn't just a sequel, it was an expansion of the world Coppola had created. We see the rise of Michael Corleone played with chilling intensity by Al Pacino. The film jumps between timelines, showing us the young Vito, played by a remarkable Robert De Niro, and the toll that power takes on a man. It's a sprawling epic, a Shakespearean tragedy, and a worthy successor to the original. Chapter 5, Pulp Fiction, A Wild Ride. Hold on to your hats because we're jumping into the mind of Quentin Tarantino with Pulp Fiction. This wasn't your typical gangster film, it was a wild, non-linear ride through the underbelly of Los Angeles. Hitmen with philosophical conversations, a mysterious briefcase, a dance contest with a twist. Tarantino took the genre and flipped it on its head, injecting it with his trademark dark humor and pop culture references. It was violent, it was funny, it was unforgettable. Chapter 6. Casino High Rollers and Lowlifes. We're heading back to the world of organized crime, but this time it's the bright lights and big money of Las Vegas in Casino. Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, a powerhouse cast at the top of their game. The film chronicles the rise and fall of Sam Ace Rothstein, a mob-connected casino operator. It's a story of greed, betrayal, and the seductive but dangerous allure of wealth and power. And the violence, when it comes, it's brutal, unflinching, and unforgettable. Chapter 7. The Departed Cops and Criminals. Get ready for a twisty, intense ride with The Departed, Martin Scorsese's gritty crime thriller. This wasn't just a cops and robbers story, it was a psychological chess match. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, an all-star cast firing on all cylinders. Undercover cops, mob infiltrators, loyalty pushed to the breaking point. The film keeps you guessing until the very end, with a climax that'll leave you breathless. Chapter 8. Once Upon a Time in America. An epic tale. We're going back to the past, to the mean streets of New York City during Prohibition, with Sergio Leone's epic Once Upon a Time in America. This wasn't just a gangster film, it was a sprawling saga of friendship, betrayal, and the loss of innocence. Robert De Niro and James Woods deliver powerful performances as childhood friends who rise through the ranks of the criminal underworld. The film is beautifully shot with a haunting score by Ennio Morricone, and it's a masterpiece of the genre. Chapter 9, Donnie Brasco. Based on a true story, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and that's certainly the case with Donnie Brasco. Johnny Depp delivers a career-defining performance as Joseph Pistone, an undercover FBI agent who infiltrates the mob. Al Pacino once again is brilliant as Lefty Ruggiero, an aging hitman who takes Pistone under his wing. The film is a tense, emotional roller coaster, and it's a reminder that the line between good and evil can be blurry indeed. Chapter 10, American Gangster, The Rise and Fall. We close our countdown with American Gangster, a stylish and gritty crime epic set in 1970s Harlem. Denzel Washington commands the screen as Frank Lucas, a ruthless drug lord who builds a criminal empire. Russell Crowe is equally impressive as Richie Roberts, the dedicated detective determined to bring Lucas down. The film is a powerful and unflinching look at the drug trade, and it's a fitting end to our journey through the best gangster films of all time. Outro, that's the mob on movies. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the best gangster films of all time. We've seen the rise and fall of empires, the allure and the consequences of power, the bonds of family and the betrayals that shatter them. These films, they stay with you, they make you think, they show you the world in a different light. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great content.